Hello there. Reform UK has exploded to 29% in the polls, way ahead of second place Labour, which is now fucked. In stunning news, Reform UK, led by Nigel Farage, is now storming ahead in the polls, with YouGov putting them 7 points clear of Labour in second place. And the Tories have now been pushed back to fourth place, 1 point behind the Lib Dems. Now I know that many, even Brexiteers, have reservations about Nigel Farage and Reform UK, but at the end of the day, Farage's offering is the only game in town right now for ordinary UK patriots. This graph shows last week's poll rating for each party in pink and this week's in that mauvey colour. And as you can see, Reform UK has gained a point at the top to take them to 29% of the vote, while Labour in second place has dropped a point down to 22%. While the Lib Dems have increased 1% to 17%, but the Tories have dropped 2 points to take them down to 16% and into fourth place behind the Lib Dems. And in what will be a massive blow to the Remainiacs, who are 100% behind Keir Starmer's so-called UK-EU reset that puts the UK well on the road to total EU vassalage, the fieldwork for this latest poll was conducted over Sunday and Monday, while we were all seeing the headlines about that great reset of Keir the sellout Starmer's design. Yes, if the pro-EU lobby and their claim that everyone wanted to rejoin the EU was correct, then surely Keir Starmer's reset would have had them flocking to his side. But that did not happen. And it could well have been considerably worse had the disappointing Lucy Connolly appeal news come out before the poll. In fact, had that poll been conducted after yesterday's rollover to the EU, I think those poll results would have been far worse for him. I can't wait until next week's voting intentions results myself. Worse, Keir Starmer's personal popularity has plummeted to minus 46%, and his government approval rating is a disapproval rating of 65%. So much for a pro-EU stance being universally applauded throughout the UK. Far from it, people are getting frustrated at a uniparty establishment made up of Labour, the Lib Dems, the Tories, the Greens and the SNP that is determined to farm out the UK piecemeal to all comers. While sitting somewhere near the centre of the spider's web is the London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who, when challenged about unkempt migrant camps parked on London's billionaire Park Lane, replied with an offhand statement about diversity being our strength. Rather than addressing the specific complaints, Khan's team emphasised London's tradition of welcoming migrants and providing sanctuary to those who need it, prompting fierce criticism from political opponents, reported GB News. And that is exactly the sort of response that puts ordinary Brits' backs up. And just another reason why Reform UK is heading upwards in the polls. And when it sinks in that Keir Starmer has subjugated the UK into the status of a mere Brussels rule taker, then his standing and that of his party will sink even lower. And I wouldn't put it past some of the Red Wall Labour MPs and councillors to start thinking about jumping ship to Reform UK before the next local and general elections, just to save their sad political careers. The Reform UK train is coming down the tracks at an ever-accelerating velocity, and it would take one almighty political calamity to derail them right now. And that type of blow will not come from Keir Starmer's Labour Party or Kemi Badenoch's Lib Dem-infested Tory party. The Tories had a magnificent chance to pull us out of the mire of EU membership, but ended up leaving us stranded on an indecisive halfway house beach, and then refused to disengage any further. So no one trusts the Tories anymore, as evidenced by their slide in the polls. The Tories are now an irritating irrelevance. Now, Keir Starmer was puffing out his chest in Parliament today, yapping at us about how good his reset deal was for the UK, extolling the fact he got us a passport e-gate deal. Message to the PM: the only people who can afford to go constantly back and forth through UK-EU passport controls are the rich and powerful. The rest can barely afford to do it once a year. And pensioners are far busier travelling around on buses and sitting in libraries to keep warm in winter. And many are regularly attending food banks. They care not one jot about e-gates. Further, we are now tied even more horribly into net zero and paying the green subsidies that ratchet up our energy prices to such horrendous levels. One of the highest, if not the highest cost in the developed world. And we won't be able to change one iota of that once these EU carbon control rules are put in place. And when the EU changes the agriculture rules, again, to take up more arable land for rewilding and tree planting, or reduce the use of yield-increasing fertilisers, then the UK will be forced to follow suit and watch our farmers get hit even harder. And we need to bring in a priest to read the UK fishing industry its last rites. Oh, and all those young EU people coming across for experience will probably not appear within the immigration numbers, because they've called it for experience. And when it comes to this new defence union and funding thing Starmer is getting us embroiled in, do you think there is any way on heaven's earth that Brussels will ever allow the UK to become a net recipient of any of its benefits? Whether it be more money or arms exports out into the EU. 'Cause I can't. Can you? No, we'll be paying in more than we can ever receive and buying EU-made defence products. And all this will become clearer as the months unfold and the behind-the-scenes secret defence treaties get agreed. And I would not be surprised at all to see the Gibraltarians end up with British sovereignty in name only. And what a surprise it wasn't when the Lib Dem leader, Ed Davey, stood up and said the PM had not been adventurous enough when handing the UK over to the EU, or words to that effect. And Turkeys still vote for that miserable bunch? Anyway, the Welsh Senedd elections are under a year away, and unless Labour can somehow delay those too. So on current trajectory, I see Labour being wiped out in Wales next year, with Keir Starmer, if he's still the Labour leader and PM, getting the old heave-ho at the next available opportunity. With the only question at the moment being, who will take control of Wales? Reform UK or Plaid? And given that choice, the people of Wales would be rather silly to choose Plaid over Reform, don't you think? Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.